Press credentials have been revoked by the Congress, by the House of Representatives press gallery. The Epoch Times criticizes the Chinese government a lot. Meanwhile, Chinese state media still has credentials in the Congress. Josh Philipp is the host of Crossroads with Josh Philipp. He's with the Epoch Times. We're happy to have him on tonight. Josh, thanks so much for coming on. Wait, am I mischaracterizing this? Why would they pull your press credentials?
Well, Tucker, they didn't really tell us anything in writing yet, and so we're still trying to find information on it. But, you know, as you mentioned, there's a lot of hypocrisy here. Because while they're banning the Epoch Times, they're letting in literal state-run Chinese news outlets, Xinhua, People's Daily, and these news outlets are state-run by the Chinese Communist Party, propaganda outlets allowed into our, halls of Congress, while Epoch Times is not.
So, I mean, what's your offense? Is it just being too tough on the Chinese government? Is that no longer allowed in the Congress?
Well, it seems that's a trend these days, and it does seem to be a trend as well that a lot of these news organizations are trying to cozy up with China a lot more. Been stories, for example, about journalists taking paid trips with, for example, groups tied to the Chinese Communist Party's United Front, groups tied with, say, business interests in China. And while this is happening, yes, you have state-run Chinese media being allowed to cover the White House, being allowed to cover Senate hearings, while the Epoch Times is not. And yes, the Epoch Times is one of the harshest critics against the Chinese Communist Party. We actually broke the story on China's live organ harvesting of political dissidents and religious believers, including Falun Gong practitioners, house Christians, Muslim Uyghurs, and others. We broke the SARS stories, a lot of the early ones on this. And so we've been a thorn in the side of the Chinese Communist Party for a long time.
And a lot of your reporting has turned out to be accurate and fascinating. I wonder, are there any members of Congress who are against this? Maybe they could come to your aid. In 10 seconds or less, can you name any who might help you with this?
We've luckily had 17 different Congress members step forward to defend us, and hopefully we'll get back in soon. We'll have to see.
Yeah, maybe a couple hundred more could step up in like the next 20 minutes. Josh Philipp, great to see you tonight. Thank you, and Godspeed. Tell us what happens. I hope you will.
Real pleasure. Thanks, Tucker.